Councillor McConnell to speak.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'll move the same motion as an amendment to the deferral. I'll move that motion as a report request to the removal. And I also have simply to receive and consider the confidential attachment that we dealt with. Okay, so that's just technical. I want to just remind, I don't know what it is, but I kind of feel it's very surreal here today, because I've been in this debate a very long time, and people said to me, oh, we'd love to remove it, but it's too expensive. But now that it's less expensive, that's not true. The numbers don't add up. And then we have transportation people who evaluate this, and a year ago bring back something that says that the remove is the best option. It's the only recommendation that's ever been before us. And now everyone says, oh, well, but these transportation people aren't very good. We've got these other transportation people over here. And what I find is that things are being manipulated, facts are being manipulated, truth is being manipulated in order for us to get to a preferred option that some people have made up their minds on. And I just think it's wrong. I don't ascribe anything malevolent to it. I just think it's wrong. And I really believe that we are moving down a track that is going to be a disaster for Torontonians, let alone a disaster for the people behind me who live in this community. We have worked very hard through all of these processes to build a spectacular waterfront, a place where all of you could bring your families, a place that is open for everybody, and a place where we can invite tourists to come. But by the way, tourists don't matter. But instead, what we talk about is a set of lands on the east end of this that will not be able to be developed for 15 years. It's ridiculous. We actually have to, first of all, move a river. And before we move a river, we actually have to design how to do that naturalization of the river. And by the way, we don't even have the money to begin to do that. The fact of the matter is that Great Gulf is not ready to go. The people who have worked behind me, who have worked directly with Great Gulf, minimum 10 years, they say, and they cannot even give a time. These are the people, the stakeholders, that have been working with this company while everybody else was doing whatever they were doing for several years. So it's not a fact. It's not a fact that those jobs are there. They'll have to wait until all of those environmental pieces are together. And I have been building the berm on the other side, and I can tell you it took over 12, 15 years. It's not an easy thing to do. And a river, to reroute a river, is so important. It's just ridiculous. So for me, I just go back to first principles. First principles is our official plan. And what does it say? What did we unanimously approve? This precinct is to remove barriers and make connection. It is to build a network, a spectacular waterfront, parks and public spaces. It is to promote a green and clean environment. It is to create dynamic and new opportunities and communities. Sorry, an elevated highway in the middle of this. And we can just say, as the previous councillor said, oh, well, it's just a couple of buildings. No, it isn't. It's a precinct. It's a whole community. It's a neighborhood where people are going to live. And by the way, if we don't get it right, as 5.3.1 in our official plan says, which is that every public works will have to conform with our official plan, then we are also in Never Never Land at the OMB. And the report that I've just tabled has just taken us over 10 years. So we are in a mess, folks, by choosing the direction too quickly. But I get it. You've decided, and I get it.
But I am very saddened that we were not able to come to a consensus for a community that needed it, for a community that asked for it, for a community that worked 20, 30 years to make this beautiful place in our city. And we have thrown them out for 3 minutes. And we were given three weeks to make that decision. First time we saw it until today. And in addition to that, it will be there for 3 generations. I think that's terrible. And when I look at what we were supposed to do, what this environmental assessment was supposed to do, it was supposed to connect our city with the lake. It was supposed to revitalize our waterfront. It was supposed to create
Councillor McConnell.
a balance for travel modes. It was supposed to achieve sustainability. And lastly, it was supposed to create value in these industrial wastelands. The hybrid does none of those, and we will end up in litigation and the Ontario Municipal Board and all kinds of other courts because it doesn't fit what our community has so desperately needed and worked for. Thank you.
Yes.
So, for members of council, allowed Councillor McConnell